This first shot here is the origination of the Seep, and this was dug, we don't know how long ago, probably 50 to 80 years ago, by people exploring for the edge of the coal. And they would have found a wet spot here, and they would have dug into the bank and tried exposing the coal seam, which is back in there. But we know that this coal seam is too thin and not of enough quality to be of any marketable value. So this is the origination of Seep 15E on the Betz permit. We can carefully measure the flows and analyze the water as it goes into what's going to become our first treatment basin. Okay, this is Phil Heichel, the foreman on this job. He is checking the flow rate and how we do it. We have a 1-gallon jug and a stopwatch, and he times how long it takes to fill a 1-gallon jug. Now the flow right now is quite low because we've had a dry spell. Prior to the closing of the ditches up above and the ponds up above, we did see a flow here as high as 12 gallons a minute. However, after we closed those ponds and ditches, the flows have drastically reduced. We have records of all this. This is the first treatment basin that we were working on, and we were putting barley straw in it, and also some bentonite clay to seal it up, and we were accused of this thing not holding water. So what we did was, and you can see by the edge of the water that the high water mark, these basins were standing full of water. This one and the next two down below. We opened the pipes up so that we could see the flow of water coming in and out of each of the 4 spots. We right now are convinced that there's very little or no leakage. We're going to go ahead and proceed with the construction of wetlands here, although I don't feel that it's necessary, because I think that the Seep is going to be so reduced in flow that it'll be well within the subchapter F limits that are required. 4 minutes and 57 seconds to fill a 1-gallon jug. Phil's now measuring the flow from the first treatment basin into the second treatment basin. This basin, when it was full of water, we had a period of time when we had no flow, almost a month. Each of the basins were full of water and did go down about no more than an inch from the pipes. There's a yellow clay stain right there. That is the underclay that's typically found beneath the coal seam, especially in this area. These basins were built into that clay seam. However, people at the department weren't satisfied that it was enough, so that's when we began adding bentonite clay, and that's the gray-white material you see. And we added straw as well. We also compacted the breastwork with a whacker, and what we're going to do now is compact it using an extended reach backhoe bucket. And there you can see the outlet from this third basin going into the fourth basin then. We're going to move that pipe to the other end here to allow for more retention time, and we have built up the breastwork with clay, gray clay, to increase the size and volume of these basins to provide for even more retention. And you can see how we've done that down below as well. Say that again, Phil. How long did the second one take? 5 minutes, 18 seconds. Okay, 5 minutes, 18 seconds. So what I was digging there was the yellow underclay that's beneath the coal seam. It's plastic, it's sticky, and it's quite waterproof. When we built these basins, that's why we felt that they would hold water, and they were holding water, and that we did not experience the leaking as we are accused of in the one inspection report. What we have on the truck here we're showing is some of the bentonite clay blankets that we have. We're going to lay down the bentonite clay blanket in each of the each of the 3 treatment basins. The very first basin, we would leave it alone, leave it as it is. Bentonite clay swells to 20 times its volume, and the blanket is roughly a ½ an inch thick, so it'll swell up to probably 6 to 8 to 10 inches of clay in the very bottom of these basins. And then we'll go ahead and put our wetland material over top of that. What do you have there, Phil, now?
5 minutes, 20 seconds.
5 minutes and 20 seconds. Slightly less flow, but of course you have evaporation and you have vegetation to account for that too. And you can see there's tree roots and different things growing into the water. So down here is where the seep leaves the 4th treatment area. This has always soaked into the ground and disappeared. There's extensive deep mines on the A seam that were mined probably in the 1920s, probably 100 years ago. There's subsidence, and we feel that the water soaks in. There's no water reaching the edge of the permit, and never has, nor is there any degradation noted to the receiving stream. However, the receiving stream is heavily polluted and degraded by old mining. For that reason, we feel this whole thing is really much ado about nothing. This is the first of the treatment basins, and you can see the water coming in to the basin. Today the flow is, what did you say, Phil, 4 minutes?
Yeah, over 4 minutes.
4 minutes to fill a gallon, so it's down around a 1/4 of a gallon a minute or less. And you can see the bentonite clay blankets that we've since covered. We will cover this a little more with some more mushroom compost, and then we'll install the cattail wetland vegetation on top of this, and then go about seeding the rest of it and mulching it with hay, and that should take care of this problem once and for all.